A touchdown for Longview!
Taking a look at the Pine Tree Pirates defensively up front, James Jackson, number 52. Playing alongside Jackson is Shannon McCaslin, then David Sanders, number 65, and the other defensive end tonight, number 5, Eric Bublitz. The linebackers, Jeff Skinner, Joe Denton, Kelvin Lee, and in the secondary tonight, Quentin Neal, Jimmy McMullen, Keith Bullard, and Derek Hunt. 2nd and 7 for the Longview Lobos. We'll call it the 37-yard line. Inside 10 minutes to play. There was motion on the right side of the Longview offensive line. And the flag is thrown. They'll call it offsides against the Lobos. It'll cost them 5 and bring up a 2nd down and 12.
So the Pirates get 5 yards of that 15 back a second ago. An interesting thing, Jerry, offensively for the Lobos, they'll call their plays from the sideline. Assistant coach Stephen Gaddis and backup quarterback Johnny Smith will both signal at the same time. One of them is live, the other is not. And that's how they eliminate the players running off and on the field, and they save some time that way.
Okay, Miles, 2nd and 12 from the 42-yard line. I formation, Mike Buffins is in the game as the wingback, and they give it to Buffins. A misdirection play, and Buffins gets the first down inside the 30-yard line and is brought down at the 29 by number 40, Quentin Neal.
Well-designed play that time. Buffins, who's a star on defense at middle linebacker, one of the better players on defense, can also play offense. Watch him, lines up in the wing, and there's a handoff, and it's wide open. And Jeff Skinner right there missed the tackle, and Buffins with a good gain and a first down for the Lobos. They're rolling.
We'll call it a gain of 12 on the play. It'll bring up 1st and 10 just inside the 30-yard line. Lobos in the power I formation. O'Neal Jackson is the tailback, and Jackson gets the call and goes straight up the middle for about a 2-yard gain. Tackled at the 28-yard line by the strong side linebacker, Kelvin Lee, in the defensive end, number 52, James Jackson.
We'll see O'Neal Jackson, number 7, and Joe Johnson alternate at that tailback slot. Of course, Jackson, the projected starter before the year began, and Johnson has really come on, just a junior, and has 6 100-yard games in a row, and he took the job right away from him. Jackson with some injury problems too early.
2nd and 8 from the 27-yard line. If the Pirates have a weakness, it'll be size, so the Lobos will run right at him. This time it's Jackson. He fumbles the football, but Longview has it back. Recovered there by 74. That's Darren Brinkley, last year's sophomore of the year. Brinkley is one of two-way starters for the Longview Lobos.
We'll look at it again. Here it is, just the pitch back to Johnson, or rather O'Neal Jackson, and good hit right there. And he fumbled, and luckily the Lobos came up with it. They retained possession. 3rd down, big 3rd down here, about 7.
3rd and 7, and the Lobos have made 2 mistakes on their first offensive possession. Number 85, split end Vincent Rowe comes out of the game. The Lobos will run a double tight end formation. They're in the power I. And this time Harris will throw. He has a man open. That's Charlie Smith. Smith makes the catch. He's short of the first down and is brought down at the 23-yard line by number 40, Quentin Neal, who had help from Jeff Skinner, the weak side linebacker.
That'll be short of a first down. And a good job by Harris just getting the ball off number 52, James Jackson, defensive end, all over him right as he threw the football, and he buried him. And that's going to bring up about a 4th and 3 for the Lobos. Looks like they'll go for it.
7:07 to play here in the first half. 4th and probably just under 3 yards. A double tight end formation. Buffins is the wingback. Clifford Powell is the fullback. And they'll give it to Joe Johnson. Johnson for a touchdown. On 4th and 3, Johnson goes 22 yards, and the Lobos, on their first offensive possession, have taken a 6-0 lead.
That's that same pitch play they run to him so effectively. Good blocking, and look how wide open that is. And it's just a foot race at this point, and Johnson wins at 4.5 speed, and touchdown for the Lobos, and they get on the board early here. Extra point forthcoming.
After witnessing a run like that, you would have to say that the rain has not affected the field conditions one bit.
Footing looks very good. The football might be a little slippery.
Steve Lasky with the extra point attempt. It's up and it's good. 6:48 to play in the first quarter, and Longview has a 7-0 lead. Joe Johnson's 22-yard touchdown run has given the Longview Lobos a 7-0 first quarter lead. This time they did on their first possession.
And I think this time they're going to have to open the offense up a little bit. They tried the power play straight up ahead on the running attack. Jones stopped short both times. Kenny Jones and Rodney Jones. They may have to fix it up a little bit, try to maybe throw the ball and try to get something moving. Very important series for them right here.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line for the Pine Tree Pirates. Again, Jeff Hayes is the quarterback. Hayes gives the ball to Jones. Jones, the district's leading rusher with over 1,000 yards. Gets maybe a yard on the play before being brought down by Huey Blackman, number 54. They'll call the gain 2 yards, bring up 2nd and 8 from the 38. Jimmy McMullen to the near side of the field. Line up in a split backfield, and Hayes will throw. Has a man, but it falls incomplete. James Cashel defending on McMullen. Defending on the play was the cornerback, Carlton Drain, the 175-pound junior, and Mike Buffins, the middle linebacker.
Well-designed play, but the pass just wasn't quite there. Sailed a little bit long, but McMullen on the down and out, deep down and out route would have picked up a first down, but pass a little bit overthrown, and Pine Tree punting once again.
This is a definite punting situation. 4th and 8. Mike Bryce is standing at the 29-yard line. Charles Smith and Leon Hendricks is back deep for the Lobos. And it will be Hendricks this time. This time he has a chance to run with the football, but a great defensive play by the sophomore Rodney Jones.
And I tell you, Rodney Jones is a fine running back. We all know that. But Coach Cook told me earlier this week he could be a fine linebacker. He just loves to play, loves to hit. And if he were not such a good running back and so valuable on offense, they would have him at middle linebacker possibly. He loves to play.
A 37-yard punt for Mike Bryce. And the Lobos will take over 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. .554 to play. Power eye double tight end formation for the Lobos. They'll give it to the tailback. That's Johnson, who crosses the 25-yard line, and Johnson gets to the 27. Johnson also leading the district miles with 13 touchdowns.
He's really developed quickly. They had high hopes for him before the year began, but you never know how young guys are going to react in game situations and how they'll come along. But he's one that looks like he's got a solid future ahead of him. Just a junior.
This time they send Vincent Rowe to the far side of the field. He's the split end. The wingback is Charles Smith, and that's Smith with the football now. Charles Smith, the transfer from Hallsville, crosses the 30-yard line. That is brought down at the 33 by number 11, Jimmy McMullen.
Got a flag down on the play. Here it is again now. Wingback reverse. There's Charles Smith. And a missed tackle right there by James Jackson. And then there's the flag on the end of that play. And we'll have to wait and see what it is. It might be a piling on. Looked like it might have been a late hit or a piling on call. Thrown right on the end of that play.
They call it a face mask against the Pine Tree Pirates, and that'll bring up a first down for the Lobos at the 39-yard line.
Charles Smith, transfer from Hallsville. And Coach Cox told me they'd like to have him send him a player like Charles every year. They'd gladly take him. He's got good speed, good hands too.
Okay, 5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. There's a man in motion, and there's a man named Marlon Myers who jumps offside.
Marlon just a little anxious on that play. That'll be a 5-yard step off against Longview. You brought up a good point a second ago. Pine Tree is not big by any means. In fact, one of the smaller 5A schools you'll find don't have the size, but a lot of heart. And that's a big reason why they're 6-0 and undefeated. And I think they're stepping in the right direction as far as their football program. A tremendous coaching job by Coach Cook and his assistants. On
paper, they look like they can get beat every Friday night, but don't tell the players that, because on the field in district play, they're 6-0. This is Johnson on 1st and 15 and tripped up as he crosses the 35-yard line. Kelvin Lee making tackle defensively. Lee, just a sophomore, 179 pounds, and he wears number 45.